So how is this going to affect business in Victoria? Well, joining me live is Paul Guerra, CEO of the Victorian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thanks for your time. On the surface of it, a week doesn't sound too bad, but it's a week after a terrible season last time. And of course, the other issue here is confidence for business and for consumers.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tom. And you're exactly right. A week will be a long time for those businesses that aren't going to take revenue and those workers that aren't going to draw a salary. So this will seem like an eternity for them, coming off the back of, as you said, 3 previous lockdowns. Some businesses come into this hanging by a thread. The CBD is just starting to recover, and both of those circumstances aren't good in terms of what the future looks like. So it's going to be a tough 7 days.
If and when, and we hope it is that 7 days and that's when it ends. I suppose the concern is you get to early June and both, businesses in particular, and maybe people out there, consumers, people that are worried they might be out of a job, just think, well, for the rest of winter, let's not take any risks. Let's go to our minimum spending, minimum hiring and so on, because this is what happened last winter.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. And, it's worse than that, because if we don't find a way to support the workers through the next 7 days, they will take the opportunities that exist in other states, and that will make it even more difficult for us to return. Look, it's a situation nobody wants to find themselves in, and Victorians all across the state have asked me over the past 24 hours, why does this keep happening to Victoria? We need to find the answer to that because other states are managing to do it a lot better. What we want to see, and we want to see this afternoon, is a very clear statement from the state government that says we will support business and we will support the workers, so that those that woke up this morning wondering when their next paycheck is coming in or when their next piece of revenue is coming in can at least rest easy over the next few days as they deal with the trauma of not being able to open up.
We don't really have a template for this. We had JobKeeper. We know that's not going to be brought back, in its entirety. But the indication perhaps, and state and federal governments talking to each other, was that maybe the states would look after the business side of things and the Commonwealth help out with the workers. I mean, I don't know if there's an easy answer to this. Does that sound like a fair carve up to you? What do you think should happen?
Well, most businesses actually don't care where the money comes from. Right now, they're on their knees and they need support. I've been active with both ministers in the state government and ministers in the federal government over the past 24 hours. And the good news is there's conversations going on. The federal government has already spent $45 billion in Victoria alone on JobKeeper. Our wish is that the state and federal governments come together to give workers and businesses the confidence that they need to trade through, so that they're going to be there in 7 days to open up again. The second part is let's sort the quarantine facilities out once and for all. We know across the country, hotel quarantine has had the virus escape at every instance. The only one that's worked without fail has been the Howard Springs facility. Let's get that type of setup ready and in operation for Victoria.
Certainly sounds like work underway on that. So just finally, people out there, if they want to help out business and the workers as well, I guess people from Victoria or outside of it, how can they help? What are the businesses that are really going to struggle, do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question, Tom. And if you want to know how much businesses are hurting, go and ask your local business, your local takeaway, your local accommodation area. You won't be able to ask your hairdressers because they're closed. But in 7 days, make a commitment to go and actually support them as you need to. But importantly for all Victorians, we're reliving the trauma of February and of course last year. So just check in on each other. And those from other states, pick up the phone. If you know a Victorian, and you will, just ask how they're going and see if you can support them. Our thoughts, of course, are to the kids that aren't able to go back to school for the next 7 days as well. So make sure we're checking in on that as well. We know how to do it. We'll get through it, and hopefully the 7 days might become less based on today's numbers, but hopefully certainly won't become any more than 7 days.